Hi, it's Sandy Wyllie. Today I'm going to talk about some of the horrific experiences I have had in my therapies. That's why I no longer go to therapy. I have been therapy free now for 2 solid years. And I'm only doing better and getting better and better and better since I've left. But so I want this video to show you what I went through and why I would never go back to therapy again. I've had all kinds of therapists in the 2 decades that I went to therapy. I had a psychiatrist, I had several psychologists, I had a social worker, I had men, I had women, I had people in training that didn't even have. Yeah, I'm outside, so in the city. You're gonna hear all the crazy things. Like I said, I've had young people in training. I've had still going to school that didn't even get their masters yet. I've had old people that should have retired a long, long time ago in their 70s. So I've run the gamut on every kind of therapist out there. So let me tell you about this woman I had. Now, first of all, she was referred by another male therapist that I had, who I liked a lot. His name was Will. He was gay. Not that that makes a difference. He was gay. He was handsome as hell, blonde. I'd say he was maybe in his late 30s or 20. No, in his late 20s or 30. I just mixed that up. I'd say he was in his late 20s or 30. And the reason why he didn't want to continue seeing me is because I was dating Jim, the psychologist who I had a 2-year sexual relationship with. We ended therapy to begin a romantic relationship. And I eventually told Will that, not right away, but it came out during the course of the very short therapy we had, and he told me he didn't feel comfortable doing therapy with me anymore because I was involved in an unethical relationship, and if I got hurt in that relationship, which I did, he would feel responsible. So that's the reason why he terminated therapy with me, or so he said. He seemed pretty honest, so I don't know why I would disbelieve him. But anyway, I wrote him and I said, I'm looking for another therapist. Do you think that you could, because I liked him, he did DBT, diabolical therapy, which is good for borderlines. I'm not going to get into the type of therapy it is. You can look it up, DBT. But anyway, because I liked him and, I thought he was very ethical, had high morals. The reason he said he didn't want to see me is because he didn't feel comfortable because I was in an unethical relationship with my former psychologist, and he was worried I'd get hurt. So he referred me to this woman in the same practice that he was in. So it would be in the same office. They had several therapists, and it was in Rosendale. I could walk to it in 10 minutes. I could walk to it from my house. So I said, sure. I mean, if Will thinks this woman is good, right? And she has openings, and it's in the same exact building, and it's like 10 minutes from my house walking. If I drove, I'd be there in less than a minute. So I said, okay. And then I went and I met her, and she said she has an opening, and she'd be glad to take me as a patient. And I just talked to her about everything that's going on, how, I don't know what was going on. I was dating, I don't think I mentioned I was dating my psychologist then. I said I was dating and in a bad relationship, and a about my handicapped son almost dying of meningitis and in the hospital 2 years. I just told her, what you would talk about in therapy. So she seemed very pleasant, very compassionate, and very nice. She was like maybe in her 40s, I'm guessing. And she said, okay, well, I'll take you on as a patient and let's make an appointment for next week. You can come once a week. Great. So I go, wow, I think I hit it off with this woman, did pretty well. I felt comfortable enough to unload and talk about things that were going on in my life. And then the next day, I get a phone call from her. I said, hi. She goes, you know what? I'm going to have to cancel our appointment. Okay, when can we reschedule? She said, you know what? I can't see you as a patient. What? I thought we hit it off great. I was opening up about everything. She certainly had lots of available slots. She said she would accept me as a patient. It wasn't an insurance problem. She said, guess what she said? You have too much on your plate. Those are her exact words. You have too much on your plate. I was floored. Here I think I hit it off with this woman. I felt comfortable. I'll tell you another incident. And this man was in West Roxbury. He didn't take insurance. I paid him $20 out of my pocket for the whole hour. That's it. He was probably like in his late 50s, ugly as sin. Had this big pot belly and his shirt, these fat men, and they wear this button. He wore this Hawaiian shirt and it had buttons and it didn't even cover his belly. His belly was sticking out from under it. The guy was horrendous. I mean, all he cared about was asking me inappropriate sexual questions. So I told him like I had this friend, Jimmy. Now Jimmy is just like my son. They both have traumatic brain injuries. Jimmy's in a wheelchair and he's paralyzed on half his body. He's an alcoholic. The reason why he got the traumatic brain injury is because he was riding his bike drunk and he got hit by a car. So we became fast friends. I've been over Jimmy's house. He's been over my house. I've helped Jimmy, I've cut his nails because he's paralyzed half his body, so he can't, cut his own fingernails. I mean, we were friends, okay? You did things that friends do. So guess what Bill Cates Jr. asked me. He goes, well, did you give him a blowjob? I said, what? What are you talking about? I said we were friends. Well, didn't you feel sorry for him that he's in a wheelchair? I said, yeah, I did feel bad. Like I feel bad that my son is a handsome 27-year-old and has the mind of a 2-year-old. He can't read, he can't write, he can't even wipe himself going to the bathroom. Yeah, I feel pretty bad. Well, why didn't you give him a blowjob? I said, because we're friends. Oh my God. Then he kept asking me all these questions about vibrators. Now, what kind of vibrator do you use? Why do you even think I use a vibrator? Or like, where did this question come up from? Where did this question come from? Like, just out of the blue. Out of the blue. And then he goes on to mention all the different kinds of vibrators. There are the different heads with the little tickly things. He knew more about vibrators than I did. Honest to God. He was like graphically, telling me all the different kinds. I said, I don't want to talk about that. So, then get this. What was really horrific, I only went to this guy because I only had to pay him $20. My husband was out of work. We had no insurance. And this whole session for 1 hour was $20. That's it. It wasn't even worth the $20. This guy was a pig, a total pig. So one time I called him up and I was crying. I was really upset. I was crying on the phone. Guess what he says? How close to orgasm are you? On a scale of 1 to 10, how close? An 8? Now, I was bawling out. I was really upset. That's why I called him, because that's what you do, right? If you see a therapist and you're really upset, you call them. I don't know how my crying and pain and suffering equals sexual excitement. I mean, I was going, and I was telling him I was upset. And then while I'm crying, he also says, oh, I want to talk about this fee. I need to raise my fee with you. You need to give me more money. He says this while I'm crying. That was the end. I took him to the board, and he got his license. He surrendered his license. So he was going to lose his license anyway. I think it's better if they surrender. They have that option that they can, surrender the license instead of going to trial and getting it suspended. So I don't know, maybe it's a cop a deal or something. Can you believe that? Then there was another psychologist, okay? After 2 years of therapy, I get this email. I'm sorry, I can't work with you anymore. Good luck. Bye. Like, what? This is out of the blue. After 2 years, going twice a week for 2 years, all I said was, I think that you look burnt out, and it would probably be good to talk to a supervisor or someone, because you look burnt out. That's all I said. And he wasn't having it. He was angry. You could tell. He was bullshit that I told him he was burning out. That's all I said. I didn't threaten his life. I didn't threaten him. I didn't yell. I didn't swear. I did nothing. That's all I said. You look burnt out, and you should talk to a supervisor or talk to a colleague about it. I was just concerned about the guy. He looked burnt out. He came back from vacation, and he looked more tired than before he went on vacation. That was it. And can you believe it? Because I said that, he said, I can't work with you anymore. Bye, after 2 years. And he said it in an email. Notice, that was it. Are you getting it now? Why I don't believe in therapy and I'll never go back? Now Jim, the therapist I had sex with for 2 years. I would pay Jim because, again, I didn't have insurance. My husband was working, but he didn't take the kind of insurance that my husband had. I was paying him $70 a session out of pocket. Out of pocket. And you know what he did? He would spend the whole therapy session talking about his past, how his father would beat him up. One time, his father made him take all his clothes off, get stark naked, lay across the bed as a young boy now, totally naked, laying across the bed, and he took some sort of, I don't know, big thick stick. Like, look at this branch or something. You see this branch? Like, see that branch right there? Ah, see how thick that? Something big like that. And he whipped and whipped him till his whole back was bleeding with thick welts. You know, like you see, like in those movies about slaves, where they take the whip and they whip the slave and whip it till the whole back is drenched in blood and welts. And Jim, he was talking about all this during my therapy as if I was his therapist, and I'm paying him $70. So I told him, this ain't happening, okay? I'm no longer coming for therapy because, I turned into his therapist and I'm paying him. That's when we started to have a sexual affair. When I said I'm no longer coming to therapy, he said, okay, I'll take you out. We'll go out to dinner, and that's when we started dating and having sex. Like right away. You're supposed to wait 2 years. I don't think we waited 2 minutes. Seriously, we didn't. So it's like I'm paying this guy and I'm listening to all his problems. There's something seriously wrong with that picture. And he was abusive. He used to push me around. He used to swear at me. F you! F you! I mean, we'd be walking in the Arboretum, broad daylight, sunny day like today, and he'd be swearing so loud, and the old people would be walking by. I said, I'm going to call the police if you don't stop this, because he was scaring me. I mean, it's called a thing called respect. You know what respect is? Respect is you treat someone kindly. You don't swear at them. And he pushed me around. At one time, he held me hostage in his house. I tried to go, and he wouldn't let me go. I made it to as far as the porch. He grabbed me, picked me up, threw me on the couch, and started shaking and spitting in my face. Then he threatened me if I went to the board and told the board this, which I did. And I sued him, and I won. Oh my goodness, it's like so friggin' insane, the shit that I've been through. And like, so I'm trying to, and then there's Dick Geist too. Most people I talked to said that guy didn't do therapy with you. I don't know what he did, but he didn't do therapy. He would just sit there and fall asleep during the sessions like this. Dick, huh? Yeah, imagine someone falling asleep. I mean, he got paid $300 an hour, and all he did would go, that's it. He would never say anything. I mean, there's a long history with him anyway, but a good therapist shouldn't tell you what to do, but they should ask you questions, make you think, like how can I say it? There we go. I picked the perfect spot to do this video with all the noise, but so a perfect therapist would ask you questions. Like one time, one of them asked me, "Why do you want to be with someone who hurts you?" That's a good question. That would make you start thinking. That was one time with one of them. One of them did something right once. But, and then another one took calls from his wife during our sessions. He had a dog, and he kept letting the dog come. It was a home office. He kept opening the door for the dog to come in. The dog would come in, sit down. Then the dog would want to go back out, so he'd get up, open the door. Like, there was so many interruptions. And it was crazy. Either he's taking calls from his wife. What, hon? Oh, what? Oh, the dog's down here with me. Oh, during my session. And then I'm talking to him, and he gets up in the middle of me saying something important just to let the dog out. I mean, and this one dumped me too. Jeffrey Fortgang, he dumped me. They said I'm too intense, too demanding. Borderline personality disorder people, that's my diagnosis, are very intense. They feel things much deeper than other people feel them, It's because they've had quite traumatic childhoods where they were severely abused. I was severely abused. I grew up in a house of chaos. I'm not going to go into it. You can look at my other videos. But so, that's the reason why I am the way I am, But to say that I'm too much, you know what I mean? It's like saying to my child, my 2-year-old, you're too much on me. you're too intense, you want too much attention. Like, what kind of parent would you be? What kind of parent would I be if I said to my kid, you're too much on me? Right? Then why become a parent? If you can't handle it, why become a parent? Why become a therapist if patients are too much on you? Why? I mean, I had a doctor once. This wasn't a therapist. This was an internist, a medical doctor. And I found a lump on my body, right? I'm not going to tell you where. And I wanted him to look at it. I thought I had cancer, okay? And he said, he looked like really like squeamish, like, you want me to look there? This is like a man my age. I don't know, he was probably 40s back then. This was like years ago. Like, aren't you a doctor? Doesn't that degree on the wall say doctor? Don't you give pap smears? Don't you give anal exams? And you're squeamish to look at something on my body? Then why are you a doctor? Why are you in this profession? Oh my God, what is wrong with these people? Another doctor I had kicked me out of the office because I looked angry. I was in a lot of pain that day, okay? I have severe GERD. I have severe digestive issues, severe. And I was doubled over in pain like this. I was looking like that. He took one look at me. He said, get out. I can't have you as my patient. You look angry. I don't want to have patients that are angry. Can you believe that? You're kicking me out of the office because I'm in pain? People, I don't care who you are. Think about the last time you were in a lot of pain. Put it in your head. Were you smiling and happy and laughing? The last time you were in a lot of pain, how did you look? Did you look happy? Were you smiling? Or were you like this? Think about it. And for someone to kick you out when you're going for help to see what's wrong with you? I have no faith in doctors whatsoever. I went to therapists and I just got more crazy. I turned into an alcoholic. I went to infertility doctors and I became infertile. You know why? Because these stupid doctors put me on clomiphene. Now, clomiphene is supposed to be a fertility drug. I was smart and educated myself, like I did with all these other friggin' therapists, and I looked it up. Clomiphene was invented as birth control. Look it up. It was invented as birth control, like the birth control pill. So they kept putting me on higher and higher and higher doses of clomiphene. And I could not become pregnant. Duh! It's supposed to be a birth control pill. It was doing what it was supposed to do, preventing me. And then the doctor said, you'll never get pregnant on your own. You have to have all these surgeries and IVFs and everything. I said, screw that. I'm not doing that. So I left the doctor. And guess what? I went off the clomiphene. And guess what? The next month, bingo! I'm preggers with no clomiphene, no fertility doctors. And then when I had my second son, the first time I had unprotected sex, very first time, preggers. So see, these fertility doctors were making me infertile. See, they do that. Like the shrinks, like the psychologists, they make you crazy, so you keep paying them because they made you that way. Since I left therapy, let me tell you, my life has improved. I only drink 2 glasses of wine now. I used to drink 4 to 5 vodka drinks. More like 5, 4.5 to 5, every single night. I used to steal all the time. I used to do pornography. I was having affairs. Now I'm 100% faithful on my husband. don't cheat, don't steal. I'm only drinking red wine because red wine is heart healthy, and I have heart disease in my family, so I drink red wine. And my life is so much better without these doctors. I'm telling you, it's like 1,000 times better. But anyway, I just want to do this video to inform people that really, oh, there was another one too who lost his license, Klingstein. Yeah, it was a GI guy. He wanted me to have major surgery. He wanted to take all, like, my gallbladder out of me and other parts out of. He wanted me to have major surgery and be in the hospital for like a week or something. I wasn't having it. Later on, I found out that this guy was unethical, and he lost his license and got fired. If I had listened to him, I would have. And I don't even want to go into it. It makes me so upset. But yeah, no more doctors for me. I am doctor free, 100%. But I just want to come on and tell you, the wacky tobackies out there, they're out there. Everyone I've been to has been wacky. So now I go to no one.